Welcome everybody to another edition of the NetV Pro Power Lunch. Today we have actually a pretty interesting show. Today we're going to be talking about I'm going to describe it as custom applications. Some businesses have some very specialized needs, and it's very difficult to purchase off-the-shelf solutions. It can be done, but by the time you've tailored that off-the-shelf solution to work for the business, you might as well have done a custom integration and probably would have had better results doing it. So today we've asked Kathy Zenzen to join us from Engel Metallurgical. And she's going to go over an application that was designed for their business that does all kinds of different things, from sample collection to helping with some invoicing and billing and customer communication. So I'll let her get into a little bit more about that, about the application itself. It's also developed on web-based technologies, so it gives them the ability to be multi-platform. So they can look at it on a PC, they can look at it on a laptop, and we are working on the integration to full-blown tablets. They do have tablets they can access it from, and we're working with doing some tablet-based apps. So it's become a pretty athletic integration for them. As always, if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to put that in the chat, and we'll be watching that, and we can ask for that. I will not steal her thunder. Maybe when we start off here, I'll switch it. I'll throw it over to you, Kathy, and you can tell Engel Metallurgical has graciously agreed to provide us with a gift, a special gift. When we will look at the gift when we go to the Wheel of Fame. We'll just go with Wheel of Fame. So we'll do that with the Wheel of Fame drawing. And all of our attendees today will receive the usual Subway gift card for their power lunch. So with that, Kathy, can you please give us a little bit about you and kind of maybe a little bit about Engel Metallurgical and what you do there, and so people can kind of understand the special, really the special and interesting nature of your business, and then go over the app.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining. This is the Engel Metallurgical Business Program, and just to give you a little bit of background, we searched for LIMS system, and that stands for Library Information Management System, but nothing off the shelf did what we wanted it to do. But let me back up a little bit and tell you more about Engel Metallurgical. Yeah, and so if I forward it this way, it doesn't want to go. All right, who we are. So we are a metallurgical laboratory. We specialize in product failure analysis, material evaluations, and general materials engineering consulting. Our customers include large and small industrial clients, insurance companies, and attorneys for the most part. The industries represented by our industrial clients are quite diverse, including manufacturers of medical devices, computer equipment, power generation machinery, just to name a few. And here are our lovely engineers, Les Engel and Jim Brusso.
I hope she's got her door.
For a minute, I thought those were the guys off of the Muppets.
Yeah, all right.
I know, it kind of looks that way, but we just sent out a newsletter this month called CSI Sauk Rapids. And if you don't get our newsletter, let me know and I'll be sure to send you a copy. It talks about all of the interesting cases that these two characters have done. Well, this is the office dog, and he is doing his usual job right now of sleeping, but he did patrol this morning before he took his first nap. So this was the state of things when we started to think about and talk about developing a new business program. And I like to call our old server the dinosaur. But here's what we were dealing with. Our server was a Novell, which was 2000 model. And our top fear was that a server that's 20 years old isn't going to last forever. However, this old Betsy had kept going for quite some time, and we were very excited about that. Getting a new system, I should say. We were excited about being able to bring in a newer server. But the problem was that we couldn't bring our old business program onto a new server. So we started talking about a LIN system or the possibility of having someone actually just build a new system. Yeah, we attempted to contact the person who originally built the system for us. We couldn't find him. We don't know if he retired, left the country, or other scenarios. So we, about that same time, we started talking to Keith and the people at NetV Pro about what we wanted to do and how could they help us do it. So here was our solution. Keith said, oh yeah, we can find somebody to do that, no problem. And I hope by the end of that build, they weren't necessarily ready to shoot bullets at us or anything, but they did build us a system and it works quite nicely. So let me go then to, hang on just a second, I have to find it again. Ta-da! We call it the Engel Metallurgical Business Program. Can you all see that? Yes, all right. This was built by one of the NetV Pro people, Jeff Miller, and we went through several trials, several draft runs and iterations of this, and finally we decided, okay, we are ready to pull the trigger and let this puppy run. And it's been in service now for just a little over a year. The team over at NetV Pro was able to bring all of our old customers into our new program. So we have information all the way back to perhaps 1983 or 84. Les, you can nod if that's right. But we have customers back to our original customers. And I'm going to just show you one of our original customers. If we go to number 28, 3M is there, and they were one of our original customers. But because a lot of what we do is confidential and proprietary, we didn't want to necessarily demonstrate today's program with an actual customer. So we developed a dummy customer for today's presentation. And here we go. I happen to know the customer number. All of our customers go by number, but you can also search by name. So we developed a dummy company called Sandman Industries, and he lives at 123 Lala Lane. And Mr. Sandman, Jack Sandman, came in carrying this huge contraption and said, I need to speak to one of your engineers. This damn thing doesn't work. And so we called Les up to the front, and he took a look at it and said, well, what is it? And the guy said, it's a sleep machine, but it no longer works. Okay, and Jack Sandman said, I need you guys to take a look at it and test it and tell me what's wrong. The machine is made of many metal components, and Les said, all right, well, we'd be happy to take a look at it. So Jack Sandman left, and then Les put an ID tag on that machine. Every single piece of metal that comes in gets an ID tag, or what we call a lab number, and you'll see that over here. So we put that tag on that piece of equipment, and then Les decides, how are we going to test this machine? What are we going to do? So we hauled it back to the shop, and Les started taking it apart, and he determined that we need to do some testing on it. And you'll see that Les said, I'm going to test this. I'm going to be sleeping for 10 hours to see if this machine works once we get all of the parts and pieces figured out. And then I'm going to test it on the technicians and see if they can fall asleep or not. I'm going to put some parts in the scanning electron microscope to see what's wrong with it. Those are all some items that Les actually did and added the charges for. We have account codes that say actually what the charge is for. You'll see the item number and the description number, and then we actually have the cost all built in. So we can add those charges into this system. Here you'll see that we've got the one specimen that we tied into that customer. If any of our engineers or technicians had time charged to that project, that would get entered into the system and would automatically roll into the charges, the actual invoice that we would eventually submit to that company. So we can take a look at what the charges currently are if Mr. Sandman calls and says, what have you got for me? Have you figured this thing out? How much do I owe you so far? Les could go into the program and say, well, so far to date, we've got about $4,000 into this test. And we think we know the problem. There's a thingamajigger in the engine that's not distributing the sand properly, and if you machine that part differently, it will be ready to go, and all of your customers will fall asleep on time and have no problems. We've tested it out. I've had a great night's sleep, and as usual, I got to work about 10:30 in the morning. Anyway, this is our system. This is how we enter our customers, new and old. Then we go in and identify a project that we're going to be doing for them. Some of our customers have hundreds of projects, and we keep track of them just by the number of the project. And then within the projects, they may bring in 200 parts and pieces. Just whatever they want to bring in and have us test, we can do that. If you go to employees, and we can look up employee number 001, well, who is that? We don't know. I guess it's nobody. Let's try this way. Oh, look, it's Les. We can go in that way and check out what he's got for time and talents, and if he's got PTO or what project he's worked on and what code he entered for that project. We have some reporting that we can take a look at, and here are the reports. We are actually in the process of having the NetV Pro gang build us more reports because we want to dig deeper into our profits and time spent on different projects. And we have invoices. I'm not going to spend too long on that so you can't see our customers. It's just a wonderful program that was custom built for us because nothing out on the market was available that would do everything that we wanted it to do. And we're just very pleased with this program. The other nice thing about it is that it was built so that we could add elements moving forward. One of the things that we're excited about is we have the ability to eventually add documents and images right into the program. So if we take pictures of a machine, or if we add blueprints to a project, whatever the case may be, those could be added right into this actual project. So we don't have to go out hunting and searching through the rest of our directories on our computers to find that information. It's not something we've done quite yet, but I know we want to take charge of that in the near future.
Hey, Kathy, can you talk a little bit about how tablets are used and kind of a little bit about that?
Sure. So we are just in the processes of integrating it. We can pull up this application on our tablets, and we're working on the ability right now. If you have the keyboard on the tablet screen, it makes it not quite so easy to work with. So we're working on doing some keyboards.
Yeah, different keyboard options.
Yeah, different keyboard options so that the techs can go in and enter lab charges in a project, or perhaps enter time that they spent on a project. We also had the NetV Pro gang build us an additional time card system or time tracker system that incorporates into this program. So they can go in and enter any of the information on here that they need to. Like I said, specimen IDs, they can check those, they can add lab charges, they can take a look at, you know, what is this project all about? What are we supposed to be finding out? Well, we know that this project is a failure analysis that one of the engineers is trying to figure out. If it was something simple like a tensile test, that would say so up here in the project title. And then they wouldn't necessarily go any further than just pulling some tensils for that project.
One of the things that we're working on also with the tablets is an ability to, how would you describe it, Kathy? Take a picture and do annotations on the picture. Use that device to actually make hand notes on it, hand or keyboard notes. So that's one of the things that we're working on implementing with the tablet devices.
So, and Les, if you want to unmute and add any comments, feel free. Every sample or piece that comes in here, we not only log with an SID number, and that's a sample or specimen identification number, but we also draw a picture of it and make any notes or, you know, circle little spots on it where we might be doing testing or have done testing for that piece. We really try to have a good paper trail. One thing I should have said back in the beginning is that we are an ISO accredited lab, and we are held to extremely high standards through that ISO accreditation. So we do have to have a good paper trail on our projects and our samples and our findings. What else have I missed, Keith or Les?
I don't know. That's a good very good overview. I don't know, Les, do you have anything you wanted to add?
I think it's worked really well. I mean, you have to realize that basically everything in the system was so old that we replaced the entire computer system. I think about the only thing that stayed is pretty much the wires in the wall.
That's true.
But this sets the stage, at least to our view, is to start to utilize this tool to be way more efficient. I mean, where our quality system now, the official one, is a paper system. So only the hard copies in paper are the real thing, even though we do have digital stuff that we're getting in a better place. And ultimately it's to switch that over, like the tablets Keith mentioned, to be able to make data entries. If you're doing a hardness test, excuse me, you could do the entry on the tablet rather than writing it on a form on a piece of paper, and then that goes into a project file. So no, this is a major shift. My biggest concern is we got to keep looking, because there's got to be a lot more things we can use it to do. And so we're just at the beginning. One was to get a whole new computer system that worked. That was pretty impressive. If you haven't been a Novell user, you wouldn't appreciate that.
Well, I think Les, one of the things that the Engel team did that's a real testament to just your whole, maybe I'll say culture, is the understanding that this is a journey, not necessarily a destination, because once we have the platform in place, we can do a lot of different things with it. And the team has been very open to new ideas, but very fun to work with, because it is that question of, hey, if we can do this, how about these other things? And the, integrating the tablets, the use of the tablets, and then being able to be wireless and move about the office and have access to the exact same application on the tablet that you have on the desktop, and seeing the same information and not having to move data back and forth. I mean, those are really interesting things that you guys came up with and wanted to be able to do. So from that perspective, it's been a fun project to work on, just to see what we can come up with as a team.
Yeah, and I think that's a big item. I mean, the big thing has been, we're a small company. We only have 9 employees. And so for all the technicians, everybody was to get on board. And okay, what else could we do? And they're like, oh, why couldn't we do this?
Well, and that's a great point, Les, and that is it was learning a new technology. I'm an old person. I've been in this deal for a long time, and I've encountered.
Watch out about the old
Well,
person.
yeah, right.
Hey, my kids are your age, Keith.
Yeah, I stand corrected. But I've done a few of the different integrations, and seen an environment where people resist change, and I've seen a project flounder and fail because people were not open to learning a new technology. And the team at Engel, the large team at Engel, the team beyond Les and Kathy, we're very open to learning a new technology. I mean, they've done a great job and have really, like they said, they're on Novell, and I mean, I have technicians who are Novell's older than they are. So, I mean, it was really learning a new thing, and the team there did a good job in embracing it. And now, so that's the launch pad. So now how far can we go? What new things can we do with it? And building the app based on, I'm just going to use air quotes, web or, browser based technology gives us the ability to do different things and have a lot of flexibility with it. So it's exciting to see what we can come up with as a group. So. All right. Well, very good. I don't know, Kathy, Les, do you have anything else to add?
No, just thanks for all the help we get from NetV Pro.
Yeah. No,
I've still got some calls to make, but I don't think any of the people I see are the player.
Well, thank you, Kathy, for putting together what was really a great demo. You did a great job showing us all the features and functions, and that was very good. So thank you very much. And Les, thank you for allowing us to tap on you guys and show this app, because I think, I think it has an opportunity to help people, help businesses that might have questions or are struggling to find something, if they're in a specialized space. So very good power lunch today. Thanks, guys.